But she's lost her mind. I don't know how else to say it. We're LDS. She thinks she's a resurrected being and a god, and remember the
This
144,000
video that came out proves every statement we have made that Charles was an extremely unique person.
Psychologically, she's gone. Something's happened to her.
How old is she?
30, 45.
45. She said that she would murder you through a spiritual...
No, she said, I can murder you.
I can murder you. And she's talking in a
I will kill you.
Spiritual.
No, she's talking physically. I will kill you because you're not Charles, and nobody will care.
Okay, so she at this point doesn't think you are her husband?
She thinks I'm Mick Schneider.
Who's Mick Schneider?
I have no idea.
And I knew that some of the statements being put out about him were totally false. And that video right there proves everything that I've said, everything that I've thought.
That's Larry and Kay Woodcock, little JJ's grandparents and relatives of Charles Vallow, commenting on that video of Charles Vallow. That's Lori Vallow's fourth husband, shot and killed by her brother. But that's 6 months before that happens, really revealing a lot about Lori Vallow and what was going on in her head. That was their reaction. I've got your reaction tonight from social media, 13th juror. And our comment of the day tonight comes from Nancy, who says, frightening and overwhelmingly sad. Charles seemed like a kind and tolerant man. She must be mentally ill, but the fact that she won't say where her children are is unbelievable. I really don't want to think they're not alive. This is so very sad and heartbreaking. Is mentally ill, and there's no insanity defense where she's going on trial.
Well, you may not have an insanity defense, but you have a competency issue, and you would be hard-pressed to believe that their attorneys would not explore that issue. And this is really an examination of the defendant and whether the defendant understands the process and the proceedings against her in this case, and who the roles are filled by. Who's the judge, who's the defense attorney, and who's the prosecutor. So you're absolutely correct that the jurisdiction does not allow for a mental insanity defense, but her competency, given the excerpt that our viewers just saw, would be in play and a very important tool to use.
Yadi writes tonight, that Lori Vallow Daybell is a sick puppy. It seems she does everything out of spite. She's all about herself. She doesn't care about anyone. Her husbands didn't mean anything, and certainly not her children. If she can't benefit by something or someone, then they become disposable to her. Lori needs her head examined, which may very well happen. Gabriel, who is this woman? Is she someone who truly believes that the world is ending on July 22nd? Just want to mark your calendars. Or is she someone who's just a bitter divorcee and doesn't care about anyone but herself?
I think she's playing everyone. I've seen some other video clips of her making statements to officers, and she appears lucid and competent in those statements. She could be acting like she's crazy in certain situations and then just being competent in other situations. And I think that's just her maybe her way of trying to get away with murder here. So I think she knows exactly what she's doing. I think she knows the nature of her actions, and I don't think she's insane at all. I think she's playing the system and acting like she is with her husband, and then acting like she's not. She's okay with acting like she's competent with other people. So I think she's just playing the game. I don't think she's sick at all.
Lisa tonight, not making sense to me why the officer on the scene didn't do a missing persons report that night. Safety of the children, death threats to him, Lori's bizarre behavior was too much to just be ignored. Charles needed the help through the courts to get Lori a clearly needed psych evaluation and some kind of safety plan in place for him and his kids. Even though the officer was polite, I'm sorry, he didn't take this whole situation as seriously as it was. And obviously, Marcia, he didn't know what was going to happen over the course of the following year. But this is a case where the kids are gone, the car is gone, he's locked out of his own house. Is there anything police could have done there?
It's tough. Those situations are tough. Even in situations where someone is not lucid and they're making comments that you think might be causing them to be a threat to themselves or to others, without court intervention, a lot of times when law enforcement shows up and the person is not exemplifying any type of criminal conduct, there's not much they can do. Their hands are tied sometimes. So it's sad to say, but we live in a society sometimes as it pertains to the law where things almost have to go bad before law enforcement who shows up to the scene, such as a scene like that, can do anything about it, like taking anybody into custody or taking her to have a mental evaluation. That's very, very uncommon that they would have that type of authority.
All right, we're going to give Tina the last word tonight. This poor guy was afraid for his and the children's life, and rightfully so. It's apparent she has a severe mental health issue that she didn't get help for. Now he is dead, and sadly, the children are most likely as well. Those closest to her should hang their heads in shame for not trying to get her help. Would like to thank Marcia Mignon, Gabriel Sepulveda Sanchez, and Vic Bujaj for joining us tonight. Great job. Great to have you on the program. Stay safe out there. And everyone else, we will be back tomorrow from 8 to 11 live here on Court TV. Have a great night. And from a distance, don't forget to hug the kids.